Feeling lost in your UPSC preparation? Too many books, countless strategies, and no clear direction? It's time to leave the confusion behind. Welcome to Vision IAS Jaipur's GS Foundation Course 2026, starting from 20th January at 7:30 a.m. and 5 p.m. With Delhi's expert faculty now in Jaipur, personalized mentorship and structured guidance, you'll have everything you need to master the UPSC Civil Services examination. From comprehensive syllabus coverage to advanced test series with performance analysis, we ensure your preparation stays on track. Prepare smarter, not harder, with proven strategies, consistent motivation, and complete support from Vision IAS Jaipur. Join the GS Foundation Course 2026 today. Batch starts 20th January, 7:30 a.m. and 5 p.m.
So let's talk about smart cities and urban governance. Because ultimately sustainable urban growth is necessary. What is happening is that haphazard growth is taking place, and this is putting pressures on the public services also. And that is why government came out with a program called Smart Cities. So India's rapid urbanization with over 400 million people now in cities. So 400 million people are now living in cities, emphasizes the need for sustainable urban growth, because there is a migration of the people from the rural to the urban areas. Why migration takes place? Yeah, job opportunities, better quality of life, better communications, balanced development, education, health, facilities, and greater freedom also, because they are away from their, sometimes they are away from their parents, so they are much more having freedom. So all these reasons are the reasons why migration takes place, and therefore the pressure on the services in the urban areas increases. So challenges include congestion, pollution, and climate change. Smart cities offer innovative solutions, leveraging technology and sustainable planning. So smart cities basically means retrofitting of the cities. So smart cities, innovative solutions with technology, which will lead to sustainable planning. So this is how. So the topic of the day is smart cities and urban development. So what is urbanization? So urbanization, the definition is, urbanization is the increase in the proportion of people living in urban areas. Now, rural areas, almost 70% of the people live in the rural areas, 30% live in the urban areas. But with urbanization, more and more buildings are coming up, more and more. Chennai, the floods took place because of too much of urbanization. Because all the pockets, all the uh, ponds, they were all covered with yeah with yeah with they were all covered up, and buildings were made on that. So the outlet for water, the rainwater, which used to be there in those ponds, that was covered. So that resulted in the floods. Gurgaon, if you remember, Gurgaon also we have seen floods. Never we could think about. It is a highly urbanized city. Faridabad also. So too much of urbanization leads to its own problems. So it happens because of rural to urban migration, but particularly in developing nations, because the quality of life is better, the public services are better, freedom is more, opportunities are more. So challenges associated with urbanization. Number one, infrastructural gaps. These are the challenges. So there is an overcrowding housing shortages. So overcrowding in cities like Mumbai, Kolkata and Pune, 85 to 90% of the household living in cramped condition. In one room, there will be almost 8 to 10 people living together. Housing deficit of 20 million units. So 20 million units, there is a deficit. So people are living on roads, they are living on platforms, they are living in slums. So there is a housing deficit. And driven by rural to urban migration and regulatory hurdles. So it has been done, it has been carried out, forced because of rural to urban migration and regulatory hurdles. So regulatory hurdles also sometimes force people to move towards urban areas. leading to shortage in water. होगा ना? The more people come in the same area, there is a shortage. After all, can you tell me how much water an average Indian uses per day? Per day, how much water? Slightly more. It's actually 70 liters. 70. 70 liters of water. So out of that 70 liters, one person. One person. So part of it, only a small amount drinks, but then taking bath, washing clothes, washing utensils, also in the garden. So all these things, average 70 liters per person per day. That is why it is said that in order to conserve water, we should not take bath under a shower. We should use a bucket and a mug, because then the water wastage is much less. Okay. While shaving, one should close the tap, but we keep it running while we are shaving. Okay. While doing toothbrush also, we keep the tap running. Now very precious water is getting wasted. The Third World War, it is said that it will be fought on water. Okay, so water, sanitation, transportation, power shortages. World Wildlife Fund says 30 Indian cities face grey water risk by 2050. That is Jaipur, Amritsar, Kolkata, etc. There are 30 cities which face by 2050 there will be a very shortage of water. Okay, shall we? Governance challenges, limited powers. So many states have not fully developed powers of urban local bodies. They have not given powers. Why? We don't want to give power. You see, the politicians also, they don't want to give powers to the panchayats, because then their discretion goes away. That is taken over by the people down below. So 74th constitutional amendment has not been carried out fully. Local bodies often lack empowerment. So the local bodies, panchayats and municipalities, they are not empowered. They lack empowerment. Marginalized groups are often sidelined. So the marginalized groups means the groups which belong to the scheduled caste, the scheduled tribes, the women, they are sidelined by the important people, powerful people, the haves, wealthy people. So marginalized people. So limited devolution of power also gives rise to problem of paucity of natural public services. Insufficient strengthening of state election commission. You know, the state election commissions were constituted for devolution of powers and funds to the grassroots level institutions. So the state level commissioners, they have not been strengthened. So this affects that elections are not carried out. Now if elections are not carried out, how does it affect? If timely elections are not carried out, how does it affect development? Monopoly hogi. So their number one is that since monopoly, they are not bothered. No, no accountability, correct? And they will think that, oh, the people will come, they will carry out this thing. Whereas if a new body takes over, it's full of new ideas, creativity. So affecting conduct. For example, election to Brihat Bengaluru Nagar Palika delayed since 2020. So there is a complicity with a complacency which comes, you see. They're not bothered. Lack of detailed local data. So if the local data is not available, then the development cannot be carried out. Unless and until you know, for example, that this block is not having sufficient, uh, there is a paucity of water, there is a paucity of road, there is a paucity of transport. So the data is not available. How many scheduled castes live in this area? How many backward? That is why one argument in favor of caste census is that it will lead to more inclusive development. Caste census is being favored by some and against by some people. With those who are favoring, they say that if you have a caste census, you will be in a position to know what kind of people live in which areas, so that you have an idea. You can form special schemes for such people. So therefore, it the lack of data is there. So makes difficult to assess urban conditions, hinders informed policy making. So nowadays, remember one thing, that the policy now formulation, because the funds are very limited. After all, the funds are collected from the people's tax by the taxes. They are very precious funds. You must use them very carefully. So nowadays, the system of policy making is called evidence based policy making. So the policy should not be made without facts, figures, and data. It should be based on evidence. Only then, because supposing there is no evidence and you still make a policy for such people, and the money will go waste. So you must spend the money very carefully. So it hinders informed policy decision. Limited financial autonomy. So financial autonomy is not there. So urban local bodies, they don't have sufficient revenue. They have to depend on the grants from state government and central government, resulting in unequal access to services. So there is not sufficient funds. Financial autonomy is also not there. So RBI's report on municipal finances, it says that Indian municipalities generate only 0.6% of the GDP in 2023. So they have, what is that one of the 4 Fs which I'm saying here? Huh? Funds, funds. Funds are not there. Resource mobilization issues. Underdeveloped municipal bond market. So totaling of 4,000 crore, 0.09% of corporate bonds. So the municipal bonds were floated, but very small amount is. Why bonds are floated? To mobilize revenue. That is why bonds are floated. What are bonds? Bonds are floated by financial institution. So they take money from the public and give interest on that and utilize that money for infrastructure. So out of the total corporate level bonds revenue, only 0.09% is from municipal bonds. So that means the revenue, the funds of municipal corporations are very less. Most bonds are privately placed, limiting investor participation. So they are mostly privately placed, which limit the participation of the investor. Environmental degradation. So there is a severe, we are talking about urban problems, remember. So urban problems are giving rise to severe air and water pollution. More and more people are coming. So the air pollution takes place, water pollution takes place. Report by Swiss air quality monitoring body, IQ Air, 42 out of the 50 most polluted cities in the world are in India. Delhi is one of them. So this is the position. Delhi is called a gas chamber. So that is why many people now are thinking twice. They are moving out. They, after retirement, many civil servants, they don't want to live in Delhi. They go to Goa. They go to such places, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, because at least the quality of the air which we, because old age invites lot of health problems, asthma and other problems. And Ujjwala Yojana was basically aimed at that, because the women in the household, they were suffering because they were cooking food with the help of firewood, and firewood produces smoke. Smoke they inhale, it produces asthma, and also watering in the eyes, so eye problems. It also required that the woman of the house had to go to the jungle to cut trees. So the drudgery of carrying the wood on one shoulder back to the house, and also it would be ecological problem because wood was getting cut. So all these problems, so the government said, let's give free gas connections to the BPL families. So who cannot afford a gas connection? So that was Ujjwala Yojana, again a policy. Social issues. Migrants often work in informal low-wage jobs, face economic exclusion. So migrants live in slums, isn't it? They live in very bad conditions. Sometimes you will see that the road is getting constructed and the woman who is a laborer, her children are on the road itself in one side. They are in a very bad shape, very poor condition, and therefore their health suffers. If you really want to see the misery of the people, go to the hospital to see how people are suffering. Go to the eh? Most of the government hospital. Go to the see the situation in the courts. See how people are suffering, litigants. You see. So therefore, the migrants often suffer these economic exclusion. Factories, so the labor laws are violated with impunity. Caste-based discrimination, that whatever you may say, it still is there. People of a higher caste, they look down upon people of the lower caste. I gave you one example, that one of the case studies came in GS4 paper, where a woman who belonged to a lower caste was employed to prepare food during midday meal for children, and the parents of those children who belong to higher caste, they came and they said that no, we will stop sending our children to the school if that lady prepares food for the hours. So it was a problem. The DM or the SDM, they were in a soup, they were in a problem, and ultimately what they have to do, they had to use carrot and stick. Carrot, they said, well, if we will sit, we will have food there. So the DM and the SDM sat and had that food. They said that we will give incentives to those children who will, the parents who will send their children to the school, some scholarship or something else. So this is how, you have to, as civil servant, you will be required to face many challenging situations on day-to-day basis. That is what it makes civil service unique. No service in this world provides that kind of challenges which civil service provides. That is why make it a motto of your life that you must try and you must go sit for civil services, because that will literally transform not only your life but also lives of the people whom you will be serving. That is why civil service is not considered to be a job, it is a service. Service to the citizens of this country. Okay, family breakdown leading to rising crimes and juvenile delinquency. So the social issues are also there. Family breakdown because the families, the rural people are moving away from rural areas to the urban area, families are breaking down, gives rise to sometimes crime also. So steps taken by the government for sustainable urbanization. One is infrastructure development. There is a program called Amrut. I'll tell you what Amrut is. Many of you might be aware about what is Amrut. Second is Smart City Mission. Third is PM PME Urban. And improved service delivery, Swachh Bharat Mission, and Day and ULM. That is also a public policy. Sustainable development like CSCAF, Retd scheme, and National Clean Air Mission. Let me ask you a question here. In the case of a company, a corporate entity, what is a triple bottom line effect? A company has effect on three important parameters are there in the mind of the company investor. Three things. It affects three things. Can you tell me? It is called triple bottom line effect. It's a very interesting thing you should know. Triple bottom line effect. So it is the three areas which it affects. One is social, other is economic, third is environmental. It has an effect on the environment, it affects socially, and it also economics. Economics, production, there is greater production, so greater prosperity for the shareholders. That is why it is called as 3 P's. What are the 3 P's? Here, economic is, what is the P? Profit. So profit. Social is people. The people living in that area where the factory is situated, they are affected. Employment opportunities is given. And environmental, no, planet. PPP, profit, people, and planet. So every company has a triple bottom line effect: socio, economic, environmental, PPP. So these are the steps taken by the government of India. Shall I move on?
The newspapers, switching through multiple news channels, exploring different websites and online mediums for relevant news. Keeping up to date with important news is not only time consuming but also requires meticulous upkeep of notes for thorough revision. With a limited period in hand and abundant resources to study from, do not let current affairs come in the way of your prelims success. Join the PT 365 program by Vision IAS and advance in your preparation for current affairs. Starting on 9th January at 5 p.m., this 20-day course offers comprehensive coverage of 1 year of current affairs in 60 hours. Join for improved knowledge with complete coverage of the Hindu, Indian Express, PIB, Economic Times, Yojana, Economic Survey, etc. doubt clearing sessions and mentoring for thorough knowledge. Access to Sandhan personalized test with 25,000 plus questions. Access to live and online classes for flexibility in timing. It's time to devote your energy to smart learning and not running. Enroll today and excel in UPSC prelims with a strong command of current affairs. Struggling with the vast UPSC prelims and mains syllabus, and juggling to stay up to date with the relevant current affairs? Preparing for the UPSC Civil Services examination alone can be intimidating and overwhelming. Realize your true potential and turn it into a victory benchmark with expert mentoring. Join the Laksha Integrated Mentoring Program for Prelims and Mains 2025 starting from 6th January and evolve your preparation strategy with the right guidance. Enroll and elevate your way to Prelims and Mains success with features such as personalized mentoring for coverage of syllabus, current affairs, revision, and much more. Rigorous practice and evaluation. Improved MCQ attempt and advanced answer writing skills. Holistic resource procurement and strategic insights. Technological and psychological support for enhanced outcomes. Step on board to make prelims and mains just another stepping stone in your UPSC success.
So one is Atal Mission, Amrut scheme, that is for infrastructure development and upgradation. So Atal Mission for Rejuvenation and Urban Transformation, Amrut, focus on improving urban infrastructure such as water supply, sewage, green spaces. Green spaces means? So parks and gardens, plantation of trees, they are the green spaces. Waste management is the garbage. Then Smart Cities Mission. Smart Cities Mission aims to develop tech-driven solution for urban infrastructure. So better transport facility, better internet connectivity, technology-based solutions, waste management, transportation, e-governance. So the smart cities, there are how many smart cities? 100. Yes, many of them, yeah. Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, you are already aware about. That is, so we are talking about infrastructure development, isn't it? Urban development is taking place and therefore infrastructure has to be improved. So the improvement of infrastructure development and upgradation. Pradhan Mantri Affordable Housing. Integrated Housing and Slum Development Program, IHSDP. So this improves living condition in slums by offering amenities, infrastructure, relocation options. What is relocation? Yes. So you shift them from their places to some properly made places like small houses in which you can shift, and by breaking the jhuggies, but offering them an alternate so that their housing needs are taken care of. So improving our living conditions, isn't it? So improve condition by offering amenities. Amenities means water supply, streets, electricity, infrastructure, relocation options. Improved living standards and service delivery. Swachh Bharat Mission. Swachh Bharat Mission is again you see, it will be a good idea if you study there is a beautiful document on internet which says, its name is 70 Policies That Shaped India. 70 Policies That Shaped India. Read that document. It will give you a bird's eye view as to how public policies were framed from 1947 till today. Important public policies are explained in one paragraph each. And secondly, which I would like you to study, is particularly post 2014. Read all the important public policy. So, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, Swachh Bharat, Ujjwala, Atal Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, Garib Kalyan Yojana. These are all schemes, Namami Gange, you see, which have been framed. So, Swachh Bharat Mission focuses on sanitation and cleanliness. Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana, National Urban Livelihood Mission. It's called DNULM. So it offers skill training and self-employment opportunities. You see, whenever a government, a political party fights an election, it brings out an election manifesto. That election manifesto, it explains, gives promises that when we come to power, these are the promises which we make, we will complete. Some of the promises they are able to complete, some they are not able to because of the many reasons. It can be positive funds, it can be on account of operational problems. So therefore, ultimately, so the Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana deals with one such thing. It offers skill training and self-employment opportunities. Climate Smart Cities Assessment Framework. So this assesses cities' preparedness for climate change. Nowadays, in the climate change has now come for real. It has taken place. It is taking place. We have, whenever there are summers nowadays, the number of summer days are increasing. Sea levels are rising. Glaciers are melting. Winter days are decreasing. But we have extremes, sometimes extreme winters and sometimes extreme summer. So climate change is for real. So once you have climate change is there, what can you do? You have to adapt to that. You have to be ready for that. That this is coming, but now I have to be ready. So that is assessing cities' preparedness for climate change, encourages sustainable development practices. That this is how you should develop sustainable practices. I remember I was reading somewhere that one full month, every day, each one of us can carry out one step to ensure that the natural resources are preserved. We are able to contribute towards environment. For example, when you go to a store to purchase things, a mall, always carry your own bag. Don't carry back things in a paper bag, because paper means cutting down of trees. So carry a cloth bag and bring your things there. Number two, never use a napkin, paper napkin. Always use cloth-based handkerchief. Number three, whenever you go out of your house, always put off the air conditioner. We sometimes don't do it because we think that when we will come back, the room will be very chilly, very enjoyable. When we take a bath, we take with shower and a lot of water is wasted. So stop taking bath in a shower. Water which is in our kitchen, it is wasted. It should be used for kitchen garden. Shaving, don't keep the water running. So there are almost 30 days in a month, and 30 different ways you can adopt. You can do some novel thing, some creative thing to contribute towards the environmental protection. Okay. Hriday. So Hriday is National Heritage Development and Augmentation Yojana. It promotes integrated development of heritage sites, improving not only monuments but also local ecosystems, businesses and tourism. So not only monuments but local ecosystem, local businesses. So in the old towns particularly, you must preserve these old monuments, old ecosystems, the ways. Uh, so this particular scheme uh, protects the heritage of our countries. Old buildings are there, we need to protect them. Old masjids are there, old temples are there, old government offices are there, community centers are there, old practices are there, and tourism. Then sustainable city investments to innovate, integrate, and sustain 2.0. It is called CITES. CITES, City Investments to Innovate, Integrate, and Sustain 2.0. So supports projects promoting circular economy. What is circular economy? What is circular economy? One thing which I would like to always suggest to you, never procrastinate. What is procrastinate? Never delay. I have asked you something, look into Google now. What is circular economy? Have a look at it now. Contribute something to the, yeah. So example, yeah, something like recycling, correct. Waiting and postponing things is never a good idea, even for civil service preparation. If you come across some idea, some thought, some query, look at them. I remember a story. After Mahabharat was over, Yudhishthir was made the king, Samrat. So one day Yudhishthir was sitting in his Raj Darbar, and one petitioner came, ek faryadi aaya. The petitioner said, Maharaj, I have this problem, meri ye pareshani hai, please solve my problem. Yudhishthir was very busy. So he said, come tomorrow. Today I am very busy. So the fellow was very disappointed and he started going back. Bhim was sitting there. Bhim is the brother of Yudhishthir. He got up angrily and he said to all, Bhaiyon aur behno, brothers and sisters, King Yudhishthir has got victory over death. काल पर विजय प्राप्त कर ली है. So Yudhishthir said, what are you saying? क्या कह रहे हो तुम? Of course. You have called him tomorrow. Are you sure that you are going to survive tomorrow? If you have called him tomorrow, that means you have got victory over काल. आपने काल पर विजय प्राप्त कर ली है. इसका मतलब आप श्योर हैं कि कल आप जिंदा रहेंगे. Who is sure? He then understood. He said, all right, call that gentleman. And he solved the problem then and there. If you have come to the word, do it now. Look at it now. Never postpone. So circular economy, climate reforms, institutional strengthening. So strengthening of institutions, climate reforms, this is under this particular scheme. National Clean Air Mission. So that focuses on reducing air pollution through coordinated efforts across multiple ministries. So the National Clean Air Mission is again a national public policy. It reduces air pollution and various ministries. Can you tell me one particular thing which is now a very current thing which is happening, and it involves many ministries? Action has to be taken in conjunction with many ministries. Come on, something connected with air pollution. Stubble burning. Stubble burning. That is giving rise to the pollution in Delhi. So it requires ministries of agriculture, ministry of environment, ministry of transport, all the ministries. So it requires a coordinated effort, isn't it? You have to bring down the pollution level of the transportation of vehicles. So that is why the diesel vehicles, they have been given a life of 10 years only. Stubble burning is another area where agricultural produce is getting burnt. It produces pollution. So in order to bring down the pollution levels, you require a multi-level coordinated approach. isn't it? So this National Clean Air Mission concentrates on that. Then smart solution. So waste management use smart sensors and data analytics to streamline waste collection. For example, Indore, what they have done is that they have put garbage collection boxes, and the moment the box is complete, it sends off a signal that this garbage box is now complete. So the person comes and replaces that garbage box. Are you understanding? So this is again use of technology. So use of technology, waste management, use smart sensors, so that otherwise what will happen? It will start overflowing, and then what happens? The garbage, people then find that the box is already full, so they would start throwing garbage outside the box, isn't it? So they have done this in Indore. They have put sensors. The moment the box is full, it will send a signal that now you replace this box with another box, or you empty this box. Traffic control. So reduce congestions, manage traffic flow. For example, if there is a traffic congestion on this road, so automatically you divert people through other routes. Okay. Similarly, if the traffic is less, then the traffic signal light, you can adjust it accordingly. If supposing the traffic is not there, then quickly the vehicle can move. Why unnecessarily they should stop? So these are all technological solutions which are possible so they are smart solution for traffic congestion removal. Then public services. So water supply, healthcare, sanitation, education, the more reliable and inclusive. For example, Vishakhapatnam has got an all abilities park. So the essential services, like, now you go back and you will, whenever you find time, look at all abilities park in Vishakhapatnam to know what it is about. Okay. So essential services like water supply, healthcare, sanitation, education are becoming more and reliable. Safety and security ensures through enhanced surveillance and communication tools. For example, Nagpur, they saw a 14% decline in crime rates. So safe urban environment through enhanced surveillance and communication tools. Can you name some of the tools that were used? Say, for example, safety of women or safety of senior citizens. Yeah, so one is, of course, there is a dedicated telephone number which is there. Apps are introduced many times so that when the women, they have to go late, say to the call centers where they are working, and they have to use taxi, so they can immediately, emergency button, the police comes to know that this girl has got into a taxi, and they follow the movement of that taxi throughout. This is the kind of thing, surveillance, so that if something is going wrong, the police will immediately come to know about it. Besides, of course, panic buttons, all those things, many things have been done with technology. So in order to make the life, and for senior citizen, the police carries out a recce that to find out how many senior citizens are living in that area alone. Sometimes what happens, this is the malady of senior citizen. The families are breaking down. The children, they are moving away from their parents to another city or to abroad. The parents are living separately, and they are subject to sometimes crime by the domestic servants. So one system which was introduced, that whenever you hire a new domestic servant, carry out the police verification first. Similarly, for tenants also, carry out a police verification first. So this is how safety tools, etc., have been done for security of people. Sustainability, green infrastructure. So integrated natural elements like green roofs, urban forests, permeable pavements to address environmental challenges such as stormwater management and pollution. So many of these steps have been taken, like green roofs. Nowadays, green buildings are being constructed. which do not require electricity, the entire light, and they remain cool in summers, they remain warm in winters, and also urban forest on the pavements, etc., so that people can take refuge in that under those trees. Renewable energy, you are already aware, solar and wind power energy. The Prime Minister also launched a program called in G20, what was the program name? International Solar Alliance, but there was another thing which it was called LIFE. Are you aware about LIFE? Yeah. Involvement of people and Solar Alliance. And also one concept was launched, one sun, one grid, yeah, one planet. So because sun never sets, in some country or the other, sun is always there. So why not connect through the sun energy, electricity to be available at all places. Eco-friendly urban planning. So prioritizes energy efficiency, waste reduction and resource conservation. Urban mobility, so cycling, bikes, separate roads for cyclists. Netherlands, if you remember, many of you might have gone, they have a dedicated routes for bikes, travelers. Because bikes are eco-friendly, because vehicles, there is a fossil fuel, there is a pollution. So people should be encouraged to use bikes. So cycle tracks. Now we have in Chandigarh also, in Chennai and Aurangabad. Waste to wealth. Waste can be created, converted into valuable resources. For example, in new towns, Kolkata, plastic waste is used in road construction. Very good. In fact, roads are so solid. The polythenes and the plastics, they are mixed with the material and put in the road construction, and they are very solid roads. Okay. Similarly, the cycling of the products. For example, in Chandigarh, you might have heard the name of Rock Garden. Rock Garden is all those things which are waste, like bangles and even sanitary articles, taps, and made of different materials which are wastes, otherwise wasted. He had converted them into a beautiful garden. So that is how. Waste to wealth. Participatory decision making. Citizen can participate in urban planning by reporting issues, voicing concerns and proposing improvements. For example, Jaipur, there is an app called 311. Decentralized planning means local governments are given more powers, more autonomy to address specific. That is again 4 F's: freedom, funds, functions, functionaries. So to the ULBs, that is urban local bodies, and the Panchayati Raj system. So these citizen-centric governance, participatory decision making and decentralized planning. Then transparent process. It helps in reducing corruption. So more transparency. Everything should be brought on the website, all procedures, everything, so that people know this is the way. If there is, people can be guided, there can be help desk. Okay, it should become more transparent. Everything, for example, the results are now being, or you can encourage people for checking of their copies in the examination. So they are all transparent solutions. So more and more transparency is getting introduced. That will reduce corruption. Transparency is inversely proportional to the corruption. More transparency, less corruption. That will improve efficiency also. And social awareness. So people should be aware. So what happened was that Faridabad Smart City Limited teamed up with the comic character Chacha Chaudhary. So Chacha Chaudhary, when people who are, so people get attached. Supposing Amitabh Bachchan says something, they feel yes. Sachin Tendulkar says something, people feel that yes. About polio drops, Amitabh Bachchan says so. Similarly, Faridabad people teamed up with Chacha Chaudhary. So they started giving, so that social change can have a. So in fact, many of the films also which are made, films also have a social impact. They talk about things. People get a cue from those films, Bollywood films, that, for example, leadership lessons. When I talk about leadership lessons to the people, I show them a clip of the film called Lagan, because Bhuvan in that film, he displayed all the qualities of a good leader. He constituted a, formed a team of cricketers who had no knowledge about cricket. Team spirit, leadership, confidence building, everything, courage. So many of the things people are aware of, if you link it, that is why some of the things in the olden year times were linked to the religion. For example, the people say that every time in the evening one should go and light up a diya under a bargat tree. It may not have any religious as such, may not. It may be because it will help people to walk 2 kilometers after taking food. That will keep them healthy, and it will also light up the area. So there is some reasoning, scientific reasoning behind everything. Okay. Then data driven policies. So the policy should be examples of the data. It should not be knee jerk reaction. It should be based on facts, figures, evidence. Because after all, the money is very precious. You should use money very carefully. Ultimately, it is people's money. So then land monetization of area based development. In the first case, data driven policy, you can look in the Rourkela smart city. Bhopal Smart City Development Corporation. Cities can unlock the financial potential of underused land through land monetization strategies. So underutilized land, Bhopal used the land and they gave it to the people, you see, to use that. In Chandigarh also, you know, roundabouts, and the land available on the road berms. So Chandigarh Municipal Corporation gave land to different people, companies, individuals, and they said that you develop it. You develop it, you give us some rent, and we will allow you to put your advertisement on that. So that would mean more income for the municipal corporation. It will also keep that area clean. So that is land monetization. What is the equivalent of this which finance minister brought about? Utilization of the public resources. What was that thing called? Something similar to this name. Asset monetization pipeline. It was national infrastructure pipeline. So asset monetization pipeline. Public-private partnership, collaboration between public and private sector. Example, Smart City Kochi is a joint venture between Government of Kerala and Dubai Holding. So PPP model is now becoming more and more popular. What does PPP bring? Tell me. PPP brings 3 things. PPP brings to the government 3 things. Can you tell me what? With the help of PPP. Huh? Okay, efficiency, correct. Actually, there is another C, the word with starting with the letter C in efficiency, okay, and cooperation you can write. Here also you can write cooperation, but I would like another word to be used, capital. Isn't it? Money. They give money. And what is the third thing? Risk sharing, correct. So PPP model, where is it most common nowadays in India? Tell me. Infrastructure, which infrastructure? Roads. Roads is the most, 62% of the PPP projects are under roads. Then there are airports, then there are hospitals, then there are power stations. So roads and power, they are the maximum. The others are also there, airports. So PPP is becoming a very, very powerful tool now. Leveraging innovative financing. So municipal bonds, green bonds, these are often issued to muster up resources. Okay, they are public-private partner, innovative models. So smart cities leverage technology and planning to address urban challenges. Initiatives like Smart Cities Mission and Amrut demonstrate commitment to urban improvement. Focus on collaboration. What is that collaboration? Again, participatory. Remember, collaboration is again participatory. Data-driven policies, evidence-based policies. And sustainability is the key to resilient urban growth. So the urban growth is possible only when all the stakeholders, they come together and we take care of the environment, we take care of the people, we take care that the cities develop on a sustainable basis. What is sustainable? Long last, correct. So these were the two PPTs which I wanted to show. Any questions you can ask me? We talked about urban development and smart cities, and we talked about inclusive development. Both are very important part of our governance, and when you will become civil servants, you will be taking part in both of these. Any questions? All the best to you. Have a nice evening.